Let me welcome all of you who have joined us today for our second community conversation. My name is Mina, and what better way to build a community? We welcomed all of you into our living rooms, and you all are with us in our physical setting, so thank you. We would like, as we begin this conversation, to know where you have joined us from. So if you can tell us in the chat box, which location and the organization perhaps that you're joining us from. It'd be good to know the representation from our community of interpreters. So as you know, as we talked about it, with the community conversations we have is essentially to help us to create our community. This is a very informal conversation. This is helping you to get to know us, the commissioners, and to learn about new happenings within the commission that we are invested in improving to make sure that interpreting certification, etc., is strong and healthy and thrives into the new year. So today we have the commissioners you see on screen and a special guest, our founding Commissioner Karin. So as we get started in the conversation, why don't we do a quick introduction, and let me start. I am Mina, and I have been a commissioner for 5 years, and I represent the healthcare system on the commission. I'm located in St. Louis, and I work with a Catholic healthcare system that serves in 4 states. So it is my honor and privilege to add that insight as we build decisions for our commission. The other piece I think which would be helpful in today's introduction is to share a little bit about our cultural heritage, because we are going to be talking about holidays and looking forward into 2021. So my cultural heritage is Indian, and along with the cultural heritage, all of us share something in common, which is the languages that we speak. So I speak a couple of Indian languages, Hindi, Marathi, and my mother tongue is Konkani. So really glad to be part of this conversation. Paco, tell us a little bit more about you.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Francisco Martinez. I go by Paco. It's one of the nicknames for Franciscos in Spanish. There are so many. I am from Mexico City originally. I can speak 2 languages fluently, and I try to speak Italian sometimes. When I was a professor at the university in Missouri, Northwest Missouri State, my students thought I spoke gibberish, and I thought that they spoke Missourian, so I understand also those 2 languages. So I guess I'm gonna pass the mic to Margarita.
My name is Margarita Bekker, and I just stepped down as the chair of CCHI, and I feel like I have been with CCHI forever, but of course it's only a few years, and it's just been a wonderful experience. I am essentially a dinosaur. I am the last of the generation who completely grew up in Soviet Union. Perestroika happened in '89, and I turned 19. I just graduated from nursing school, and then I immigrated to United States and studied Slavic languages and literature. So naturally, I became a healthcare interpreter, and I work at Stanford Healthcare in California. And this is a very special time for me because New Year is one of the biggest holidays for all the Russians, regardless of their religion, their ethnicity, their upbringing. It's one big uniting holiday we all have all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Karin, tell us a little bit about you.
So my name is Karin Ruschke, and I was originally in Chicago up until a couple of months ago. I am now in Michigan, but my business is, I have a business, an interpreting business in Chicago still. And I was a founding member of NCIHC, and then became a founding member of CCHI, and I think that has been, other than the excitement of starting your own business, I really think for me that my journey with NCIHC and CCHI has been the highlight of my career. Christmas is a wonderful time for us. It's a family-oriented holiday, and we have a lot of traditions, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And so I'm very happy to be on this call, and thank you very much for the invitation. Oh,
Definitely.
and we have a foster dog that
Uh-huh.
we foster dogs. And so if every once in a while you see me petting something, it's just because she's a little bit, has separation anxiety. So
Oh, how wonderful.
And she's right there with you.
yeah, she's right here right now. Yeah, she's trying to chew on my purse. Yes.
So yeah, thank you for sharing a little bit about a glimpse into your own, backgrounds and personalities. Before we get to the holidays, I want us to take a step back and, like we do most years, reflect on the year that has gone by, look at the next year with hope. This year is extremely special. It has been remarkable, and it has changed all our lives. It has taught us so many new things. It has shaped our organizations, so personal, professional, we are all shaped differently. And the pandemic, interestingly, has impacted everyone on this globe. And it's become a shared human experience. So with that as a backdrop, each one of us has been shaped differently in 2020, as has CCHI. So let me invite you, Karin, to start and share a little bit of your reflections as you look back into 2020, things that that shaped you. And I go back to, in the last conversation, Valerie, one of our commissioners, talked about this Chinese word that has two characteristics, and the word is crisis, and the two characteristics of that word are danger and opportunity. So share your reflections for 2020 and any insights you may have about the work that we did as CCHI collectively.
20, I mean, for all of us, 2020 has definitely been a challenge, both professionally, so with the business, and as well as personally. I think for me, the challenge, the crisis has been the lack of contact. My family is the only family in America. All of my relatives are in Germany. And so for us, family has been really important, and not being able to see them on a regular basis. I have to fly to see my sister, which has been impossible. But on the other hand, it's been interesting because prior to the whole COVID situation, I never really used video chats to talk with my family. It's always just either been email or on the phone or text messaging, and that has completely changed. Now I make sure that whenever I talk to them, I actually see them. And that has been a huge positive influence within the relationships in my family. Do you want me to talk a little bit about the E2E work right now? Or yeah. And so I got an opportunity to work on the E2E, and I am one of the raters, and it's been being able to start from the beginning, and I worked through the entire process of the CHI exam, and now to be able to actually work on the E2E exam. It's been fascinating to me to see how the two correlate. When you're first starting to develop an exam, you don't really know how that's going to all gel together. And I have had the opportunity to see how both of them are going to, how the CHI is developed and how the E2E now is going to, I think, have a tremendous impact on the industry, because all the interpreters can now be certified and show that they're professionals. The exam it's an amazing exam, and it's been eye-opening to see how well this exam has been developed, from the writing stage to now actually seeing how the candidates take the exam. And so yes, 2020 has been a huge challenge, but there have been so many opportunities for us to get more connected with each other, to spend quality time seeing each other, other than just through texting,
Right.
and also for the interpreters, to, hopefully come 2021, for all the interpreters to take advantage of all the work that we've been able to do in 2020 to further their own professions.
And that is a significant body of work. So really, I think everybody, the community is excited to see how that progresses in 2021. Margarita, you were the chair as the pandemic hit, and there were certain critical decisions that we made with CCHI. Do you want to share a little bit about how we pivoted?
So I'm very proud of CCHI and our board and our staff members. I think we were uniquely prepared for this particular crisis, and we had an opportunity. We had the ability to use the opportunities that it's presented as well. We as a board are very familiar with working remotely because we don't meet in person all the time. So converting a couple of meetings we have a year to remote was not something horrible. We know, we got it, we know what to do. And of course we have robust social media presence, and we were able to share information about COVID and interpreting and all the latest news with all of our constituents and anybody, including interpreters who are not certified yet and thinking about that. And we also changed our testing procedures. We converted our CoreCHI, the written exam as it's usually known, to the remote modality, and it was very successful considering how little time we had to do in working with our vendors and converting all of that and making it possible for people who wanted to take the CoreCHI exam from home. And the exciting thing that in January we'll be reassessing to see if it could become a part of permanent offering. Of course, as always, CCHI wants to make sure that the security and validity of testing is assured regardless of where you're taking this exam. So I think that will be something very exciting in 2021. And certainly without this crisis, we probably wouldn't have thought about doing it earlier. And of course, I think as a certification agency organization, what we noticed, I mean, personally as a chair, I was pleasantly surprised that people still wanted to become certified in the middle of the pandemic. And what it shows to me that interpreters, healthcare interpreters and their employers value certification, that the quality of language access becomes even more important in the middle of this crisis, in the middle of the pandemic, when we know that LAPs are disproportionately affected by this pandemic, especially Spanish-speaking patients. A higher number of them ends up ill and in the hospital. So I'm very happy that CCHI is doing all that it can to help everyone, every healthcare institution, every interpreter to provide quality and equitable language access to all of our patients. And of course, the challenges are many, and we have our work cut out for us for many years to come.
Absolutely. Social justice and equity in the work we do through language is important. Paco, any thoughts to add from your reflections?
Yeah, well, for me, I think that there was also, besides all the things that we have been saying here, like it had a silver lining. I think that for the industry, it was an opportunity for everybody to step up and say and start working through video remote interpretation. That was something that people were like hesitant to do or not wanting to go into there. Like we need to be present. No. Like video remote interpreter is a great tool. It has had really great results, and I think that this is going to be something that we all need to look into in the future. That we need to be prepared to do this. The big challenge for me was the balance between work and self-care, because it's been challenging. Like working from home, in my case, it's been like I feel that I'm not doing as much as when I'm in the office. So I tend to try to do more and not care for myself. And I think that a lot of people are doing the same thing, just because you're not going there. I mean, you're not going to work really in to the office. And I'm also very excited about our organization because we have been supporting interpreters in all kinds of ways,
Absolutely.
in spite of the next virus or anything that comes our way.
Absolutely. And, you talked about two important things. So again, I invite you, those who are listening to us, to go to the CCHI website, because we have resources and tools there for self-care. Important flyers that you could use in your own advocacy. And then we continue to think about how to discuss this long-term, given some of the conversations we just had. Let me pivot a little bit, and I don't know if you all have seen the new Google logo with little lights hanging on it. There's a little bird that flies and puts those lights. So obviously the holidays are here. So as we wrap up, let me invite you, and let's start with you, Paco, to share a little bit about your favorite holiday tradition.
Well, I'm going to talk about my experience. I'm from Mexico City, and Mexico City is huge on these celebrations. Actually, this is the time of the year when more people get sick and don't go to work, because we have celebrations from the 16th to the 24th and beyond. Actually, our whole celebration really finishes until February the 2nd. Starting on December 16 with Posadas. Posadas is a celebration that we have. It's a street celebration, but now it's like family celebration also. And this is also a reenactment. It's like caroling. Some people are carrying the Mary and Joseph, and it's to we are reenacting the pilgrimage of Mary and Joseph from Nazareth to Bethlehem for the census. And obviously the baby is born in Bethlehem because of that, right? But they are knocking on doors and nobody wants to give them shelter. That's what Posada is, shelter or inn. And we are singing all the time like, okay, yeah, please let me in. And then the people inside say like, no, you can be a thief, you can be somebody dangerous. At the end, when they identify as Mary and Joseph, then the final house where you knock and you identify is where the party starts. Everybody gets in, everybody starts singing in joy, and kids get candy. And this is also where this is the origin of the piñata in Mexico.
Mm.
The piñata,
Oh.
that we use in birthdays, actually, it was first arrived with the posadas. The posada, the traditional piñata, has 7 points, and each point is one of the capital sins. It's the representation of the capital sins. So we are hitting the piñata, trying to break with sin and get the goodies that the birth of the Savior is bringing to us. Right, so that is really but there are so many traditions.
And I think you sorry to interrupt, but I think you mentioned you have a video that we would be sharing with our audience about that celebration of Posada.
Yeah, it's a short one, because it also shows like everything else, because we are crazy. In Mexico, we do also a lot of crazy stuff for New Year's Eve. We go out and run with suitcases around the corner. We wear like specific color underwear for luck or for love, and we turn on candles and things to see where the wind comes in, and that means that's where the year comes into our house. So we are just like,
so cultures from Mexico are sounds fascinating, with posadas and all the things that you're explaining. I'm assuming similarly in Russia and then in Germany. Do you want to share a little bit about what happens from your cultural traditions, Margarita?
Well, so in 1917, newly formed Soviet Republic decided the new government outlawed Christmas because, of course, religion is an opium for the people. But what they discovered very quickly in a few years, even when the people are busy building the bright future of communism, they still need some joy now. So the Soviet government kind of pivoted and did what, happened in many countries before during those kind of changes. They appropriated all the Russian Orthodox Christmas traditions and converted them into secular holiday of New Year. And even though Soviet Union no longer exists, and certainly people celebrate Orthodox New Year's, and Catholics in Russia celebrate Christmas on December 25th, and Russian Orthodox celebrate Christmas on January 7th. New Year tradition became so entrenched that it's really one of the biggest holidays we have in Russian diaspora all over the world, and in America. You pretty much know what they will be doing on New Year. And we have two New Years. One is on December 31st, and then we have Old New Year on January 14th, because before 1917, Russian Orthodox calendar was 2 weeks behind. So in Russia, similarly, everything sort of shuts down from December 31st through January 15th, because people are busy celebrating and eating and drinking. So behind me, this is not a Christmas tree. In my head, this is a New Year tree. And it has all the traditional lights, and all of my ornaments are cat related because I'm a crazy cat lady. And on the New Year's, it's very important for us to create a huge feast. I make so much food that all my guests are like, you're feeding the army. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. If I was in Russia, I would be apologizing for the meager amount of salads I have. And I usually make a goose or duck, and then a traditional Russian potato salad called olivier, and a beet salad, and blinis. There are delicious Russian crepes with sour cream and salmon raw and cake and all of that. And we wear our best clothes. And the idea is the way you celebrate the New Year, that's how the next New Year will be. Let me tell you, it didn't work out this way for 2020. I did my part. I had a huge party with food and cake. I have no idea what happened. Maybe some Russians somewhere ignored the tradition. And of course, this year it will be like my pandemic pod, and everybody else will be on Zoom, but we will be staying up. And of course, we exchange presents on New Year, just like people do on Christmas, since essentially all the traditions were copied. And I'm not a big drinker, but usually there is a copious amount of various drinks at the holiday table. And when I was little, my mother hired a government-provided Father Frost. It's not a Santa Claus, it's Father Frost, to come to our house. And we would read him a poem and he would give us a gift. Unfortunately, we were the last apartment on his route. And by that time, he had so many drinks and appetizers from other houses, other families, that he fell asleep as I was reciting my poem. And that's when I realized that at 5 years old, that fairy tales are not real. Happy New Year. Noble Gordon.
So from Russia, Margarita, let's go quickly to Germany. And I know we are a little over our time. So Karin, do you want to bring us home?
Yes, I'll make this really fast. We have, we don't celebrate on Christmas Day. We celebrate Christmas Eve. And Santa Claus actually doesn't bring us our gifts. St. Nicholas Day is on December 6th, and that's when he comes and he throws candies through the windows. And my father did this so well that we never realized that he was the one throwing all the candies until we were a lot older. But on Christmas Eve, then after dinner, all the kids go and they have to go away. And then the Christkind comes and she brings us all of our presents. And there's a little bell that rings that we know that she's left, because if you come out while she's still there, all the Christmas presents will just magically disappear. And it really is a magical time of year for us, yes. And for St. Nicholas Day, we actually, which is December 6th, you have to polish your shoes. And if you don't polish your shoes, then you get coals in your shoes instead of fruits and little candies. And I cannot tell you how many times I ended up with coal in my shoes, and back then, of course, you had the leather shoes. You didn't have like gym shoes, right? So those shoes actually needed to be polished. But some other really wonderful Christmas traditions are we have a Christmas bola, and the bola actually refers to a specific type of a pottery, and then you can make all different kinds. Some of them are warm Christmas punches, some of them are cold, most of them traditionally are with like strawberries and pineapples and different kinds of fruits, and that is what is served on Christmas Eve. And then of course my favorite food.
Oh, go ahead, Karin.
Really quickly, is we serve a roast with dumplings and sauerkraut. That is a very traditional Christmas dinner for us.
Thank you.
So Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you so much, Karen. Obviously, we could not compile and hold the rich cultures that you all represent in the 5 quick minutes that we had today. So if you all can send us videos, that would be wonderful to share with our larger audience. In parting, as we close, I want to thank all of you for participating. We are right now in the middle of an advocacy process of looking at vaccine phase 1. Margarita, do you want to just close us out on that note as to where they can send us an email and other particulars?
So, as you know, this is very exciting time. Vaccines are here. Efficacy of vaccines is higher than we anticipated. And the latest poll shows that 71 to 84% of Americans want to be vaccinated. And I am getting vaccinated as soon as my hospital is offering it to me. And we would like to do a part in advocacy to show to all interpreters and everyone else that vaccines are safe and effective, and we're going to lead by example. So we're inviting you to show your pictures. If you get vaccinated and your workplace allows you to share these pictures or videos on social media, and of course you can always ask your supervisors, is that allowed? Please send us those pictures and videos of you with the CDC stickers, I'm vaccinated against COVID. Send it to them to solutions@cchicertification.org, and we'll be definitely publicizing this address, email address, in all of our social media. And even though the stereotypes that Russians are not optimistic people, I am. With the vaccine, I feel that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and the end to this hideous pandemic is coming. We just need to be patient and do our part.
Absolutely. So thank you all for participating in this quick round robin and discovery of our cultural traditions around the world. On behalf of us and the rest of our commissioners and our team, our staff of CCHI, we want to wish you and yours a safe and happy holiday, a joyful holiday that is filled with hope, with peace, and with the optimism for future. So thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to you joining us for the 3rd community conversations. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Happy everything.